Good morning. Welcome to day one of my 100-day self-connection experiment, where I meditate every day for 2 hours and then share my experiences with you guys in a daily video. Today, I was reminded, first of all, when you're in the middle of a 2-hour meditation, you're reminded of why this shifts your consciousness. Like, wow, that's a lot of time to spend just connecting with yourself, going deeply inwards. There's no escaping yourself in a 2-hour meditation. You're tempted at times to lose yourself in thought, to just daydream, but that tends to get super boring really quick. And that's usually when people end the meditation, when they just go up into their head, into their mind space, and they just start thinking, oh, I'm bored, I'd rather be doing this. This sounds more engaging, this sounds more fun to do, and then they just get up and leave. And I've done this a lot too. But when you're committed to a 2-hour meditation, you don't have that choice. You have to just keep sitting there. And you realize if you just want to keep sitting there and losing yourself in a daydream, the meditation's going to take for fucking ever. It's going to take so long. It's going to feel, because time is relative. In a meditation, 2 hours can feel like eternity, or 2 hours sometimes can just feel like that. When you're connected to presence, that's when a 2-hour meditation seems to just flow, the timer will be going off and you'd be like, whoa, that was 2 hours? And you'd be ready just to do another 2. So today it was interesting to recognize how there was that temptation there, but then the recognition of, I'm not going to do this for 2 hours. I'm not going to be lost in the mind for 2 hours. And then the just with that realization, the willingness just to surrender thought, just to surrender contracting on every thought that comes up, to giving so much interest to the mind space, and to just allowing myself to surrender into spaciousness, to surrender into the feelings in my heart space, in my solar plexus, my gut, to just allow myself to open and to be more receptive to something greater to come in. And it's hard to be open and receptive when we're lost in thought. Because when we're lost in thought, we're doing this, we're contracting. We're shrinking into the small me identity when we're lost to our thinking mind. And thinkingness takes energy. Thinkingness is draining to our psychic energy. So there's that other recognition that if we want to restore and rejuvenate, it's essential that we let go of thinkingness. We don't fight with the mind. We let the mind think. We let it do its thing. But we recognize we're the greater space. We connect to our spacious nature, and we allow the mind to think. But we, as the spacious awareness, we don't contract. We don't give so much interest to the mind. We just stay open. We stay completely relaxed. We stay surrendered. We stay in our body. We stay with sensation, and we feel. And we breathe and we experience. And this is the beauty of a meditation, is especially a long meditation, is it requires you to make it through. It requires you to surrender thinkingness, to surrender efforting, to surrender anything like of that nature, and it just asks you to step into something greater. It demands of you that you connect to presence, that you connect to what's going on in here. And I felt today what's going on in here is there was a lot of like fear. I could just feel this deeply, deeply buried fear within me. And it's interesting, the more space we get, the more it's like, it's this old, and I don't want to be super dark here, it's not like an entity, but it's like this alive being that's within you, this fear-oriented being that's within you. And I had this recognition today in meditation. Oh, I used to be that being. I used to identify as that fearful one that I'm feeling right now. But because there's so much more awareness and I'm not identifying with it, it's like I'm not that fearful being anymore, but it's still there. It's still in a sense, it's falling away. It's starting to it's like more and more awareness is being cultivated, so it's starting to be more fully seen for what it is. And it was so beautiful in my meditation, just being able to pour so much awareness, so much love into this old aspect of myself. It's like this old aspect of myself. Like I said, I used to be this aspect, this fearful aspect. I used to be fully identified with it. But because there's more awareness and I'm not identified with it, it's like I can see the fear, I can feel the fear. And sometimes the fear, it starts emanating in a certain chakra center. Like for me, I felt so much heaviness and fear in the third eye, like in the face. This tends to be where our spiritual ego or super ego lives, the part that likes to control. And I felt a lot of fear there. But as I kept surrendering in the meditation, I felt that this fear was actually connected to all my chakra centers. And that's when I started to feel, oh, it's like this living being, this older aspect of self that I used to be, but now it's on its way out. It's coming up and out. It's coming up to be seen, to be integrated. And it was just a really a fascinating experience to actually see and feel this fear body, this fear entity, you could say, just like an old fearful state of being that I used to be identified with. It was coming up and out in the meditation. It was actually connected to all my chakra centers, and that was just a really powerful experience to be like, sorry for the noise. It was just a really powerful experience to be like, yeah, there's a lot of fear here. There's a lot of fear dwelling within this being, but to not be identified with it and to be able to hold space for it and to love it, and to embrace it, and to just be like, this meditation is all for you. Just speaking to that inwardly, breathing into that fearful part, like, hey, this is for you. This is for you to be seen. This is for you to feel loved. This is for you to feel safe. And a 2-hour meditation, it makes it so you can't run from that part of you. It's inescapable. Like the deeper you go in, the more you discover all of these older aspects of yourself that are ready to be seen and integrated. And the last thing I want to say in this video is, yes, a 2-hour meditation, of course it's going to shift your consciousness, your state of being. There's no way around that. But the other thing I'm realizing is, this is all about falling in love with the process of a 2-hour meditation every day and what that brings to my life. I'll just speak personally. Yesterday in the laundromat, after I made that video, it was like a choice point. I committed to it. And I posted that video. And after that, it led to another choice of, I'm gonna go sign up for a month-long trial of unlimited yoga at this incredible yoga studio. And so I went and did that. And then I did a 1-hour yin yoga class last night at this amazing studio that's really devoted to cultivating presence and mindfulness. It's a yoga studio that's not so much focused on the physicality and that aspect of it, which can be great. It's more focused on the meditative quality of yoga, the connecting to your true nature quality of yoga, which is incredible, and it lines up beautifully with this self-connection experiment that I'm undertaking. And so it's like the process is what we want to fall in love with, not so much like going into my first 2-hour meditation self-connection experiment. It was a lot about, ooh, what results am I going to get? Who am I going to be after this? What's my consciousness going to be like? And how is my external going to reflect that? And that's really cool, and that's beautiful, and that can get us started. But going into this one, to this self-connection experiment, I'm recognizing that it's all about like falling in love with the process and what that brings to my life. Like how already it's brought into my life a renewed commitment to longer meditation, and how that's like shifting me in other ways. It's making me more compelled to go to yoga, because I know the yoga is gonna help me have the energy to get through this, to be able to bring through quality videos. And then the yoga, I can sense already, there's so much I want to say, it's crazy, but the yoga is gonna, and the meditation shift me towards a healthier diet. The yoga last night already shifted me to this sleeping schedule where I went to bed at like 10 or 11 and woke up at 5:30, just refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to start the 100-day self-connection experiment. And the yoga, it was incredible just being with other human beings, right? In the flesh. in a meditative yin yoga class for an hour. That was so powerful. I know in the first hour I felt like this deeply buried terror and fear come up. And it's because there was just this beautiful container for big emotions to arise, because we were all connected in the present moment in the physical realm. And I forgot kind of how powerful that can be because of everything that's been happening, and how everyone's been, in a sense, so separated physically. And so that was like a beautiful, it was just like this reconnection in a sense. And with that aspect of living in the physical reality, and also the kind of relationships that might be able to birth from that type of thing. Like, I resonated a lot with the yoga instructor. She was super connected to beingness and silence and this sense of calm and rootedness, which is exactly what I needed, considering I've been on this road trip and being uprooted from the last place I was living at. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is like, it's the process of things we want to fall in love with, not so much of the results we think they're going to bring us, which of course will always reflect our inner state, but not really putting so much expectation there, but just falling in love with the process for the sake of what that brings you, for the divine flow it tends to help you step into, help you to just surrender into. And that's what I'm feeling already through committing to this 100 days. It's like, it was so interesting from that laundromat. I was a little bit strung out, a little bit, definitely really tired, a lot of uncertainty. And just how after that commitment, it just leads to the next, like, I committed to the most high. I committed to living my highest expression in that moment when I made that video. And I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I committed to that. And that, it's like a domino effect. Because of that commitment, it was like I said, it just led to the yoga studio, which led to an amazing night of sleep, which led to this video, which is going to lead to an incredible healthy breakfast, which is it's just gonna keep leading to the next highest thing, right? So it's the process we want to fall in love with. And then of course the results are going to birth from that. We don't need to worry about the results, though. We don't need to be attached to them, have expectations about them, or worry about them. We just need to trust the process, fall in love with the process, and let life take care of the rest for us. So that's the video, day 1. So happy to be starting this with you guys. I love you all so much. I put ways you can support the channel and my adventures in the description box: donation, booking a session, joining the email list. These are all ways that help me tremendously, and I appreciate you all so much for however you choose to support this channel. Even if that is just watching this, liking and subscribing, it's all so beautiful and so highly appreciated. Much love. Namaste.